Forward TV. The world is thinking.
Richard Ackland. I knew we'd get that trick from the negative. We're not debating our religion, we're debating their religion. A hastily redefined environmental religion that we hadn't woken up to until 7 minutes ago. We are not tricked. The great wizards of all religious workshops use their magic curses and their spells to try and keep us comatose. Draped in their mesmerising vestments, they tell us what sort of fun we can have, what we can see and hear, what our sex lives should be like, what to believe, who is favoured, who is an outcast, that we should populate more, that the globe is not warming, that pilgrims should not be upset, that communists are satanic, that Nazis should escape, that other people's land should be occupied, that a snake told someone to eat an apple. In politics, science, art, and the law, these wizened forces of bigotry, meddle, skew, and pervert. How can we be sure, when it comes to the Great Reckoning, which brand is right? What if it was the Jehovah's Witnesses who turned out to be the one true way, and we'd lined the birdcage with all those unread copies of the Watchtower? To ask, would we be better off without all of this, is to ask whether we'd be better off without a persistent perversion of free thought, artistic expression, and scientific endeavour. Can we take a snippet of scientific endeavour first? John Rock was the doctor who put progestin in a tablet and said that if sexually active women swallowed that tablet on a daily basis, they would not become pregnant. The pill, arguably, was one of the most important inventions of the 20th century, along with the computer, the jet aeroplane, television, jazz, alfoil, and the Caesar salad. Rock, as his name suggests, was an enthusiastic Roman Catholic. In a genuflect to his religious conviction, he built into the pill a 3-week cycle with a period in the 4th week. There was absolutely no medical reason for that. In fact, the pill needlessly locked women into monthly sessions of abdominal pain, mood shifts, headaches, fibroids, and anemia. For what purpose? To simulate that the pill was just a chemist shop version of the religiously prescribed rhythm system, and therefore satisfy the objections of the church. We have religion to thank for monthly PMT. This subversion of inquiry and knowledge has been going on for a long time. The Vatican used to insist that it was contrary to the scriptures to claim that the earth stood still, that the earth moved and that the sun stood still. The modern equivalents are the struggle over embryotic in vitro stem cell research and the morning after pill. The velvet paw of Cardinal Pell emerged in the debate over legislation in New South Wales to allow scientific research of stem cells from test tube embryos. He announced that Catholic politicians who voted for the bill could expect consequences. The work that is being done with these stem cells is in searching for ways to combat diabetes and Parkinson's disease and, of course, spinal cord injuries. The Church does not want a stem cell to suffer so that fully blown human beings continue to suffer instead. And that is not the only dotty concept that you'll hear here tonight. Homosexual people are told by Islam, Judaism, and the main Christian religions that they should not have sex. Some of the more zealous brands add the requirement that homosexuals are better off dead, which is much the same thing. Pedophile priests appear to be in a different category. the Church goes to inordinate lengths to protect them and its coffers from the clutches of raped and damaged victims. It is thought by some political observers that it was the United States Supreme Court's abortion decision in Roe versus Wade that so distressed evangelicals that they voted in their droves for George W. Bush in 2000. Of course, 5 members of the Supreme Court actually elected Bush as president, but there's no doubt about it. Religious fundamentalism is an exciting guiding hand in US domestic and foreign policy. You can see it in the AIDS program. The President's emergency plan for AIDS relief has pledged a massive $39 billion over 5 years, and a lot of that goes to Africa, where the pandemic is at its most severe. However, AIDS organisations can only get the funding if they preach abstinence, not condoms. If only George Bush Sr. and Barbara had pledged abstinence. At least evangelicals in the United States are right on the money when they claim, as they do, that capital gains tax is against the word of God. The arts are never far behind. When the Danish newspaper Jyllands-Posten published naughty cartoons of the prophet, only 100 people were killed in the ensuing upset. There was the fatwa against Salman Rushdie over his satanic verses, and Bill Henson was denounced as a purveyor of pornography. Art that satirises or even mocks religious sensibility is to be tossed on the fire and the artists flayed. More recently, Random House has decided not to publish The Jewel of Medina for fear it may incite acts of violence. The book is described as an Islamic-themed historical novel. It portrays a child bride of the prophet, and Muhammad's embrace is likened to a scorpion's sting. It's difficult stuff, but nothing so difficult that a bit of suicide bombing couldn't fix. There was an interesting development recently when Graham Samuel and the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission were attacked by the President of the Executive Council of Australian Jewry over the decision to bring a criminal case against Dick Pratt, the businessman. Pratt was the subject of earlier proceedings in which he pleaded guilty to colluding to fix the price of his magnificent cardboard boxes. Subsequently, ASIC brought another charge alleging that he had told lies to the Commission investigators. Colin Rubinstein from the Australia-Israel Jewish Affairs Council thought that this second charge may be unreasonable. Non-Jewish organisations did not venture a comment about this maybe unreasonable charge. Now, I'm not sure what all of this is about. Are they saying that because Pratt is one of ours, one charge is enough? Would they say the same if a Muslim or a Calathumpian was thrown an extra charge? And just why it's unreasonable was never spelled out. But we may be seeing an entertaining new frontier in criminal justice where people can cheer or boo from the sidelines depending on the religion of the accused. Of course, much of this debate is about whether there is a God. From what I've heard so far from the other side, I remain unconvinced of a powerful, all-dancing deity. If there's no God, there's no point to religion, and believers are wasting an awful lot of their precious time. Just think of those poor Mormons who've foregone the dancing, even the lap dancing. All those Jews who've kept the same haircuts as 15th century Poles and wasted their Saturdays into the bargain. Or the Christians who've tossed all that money into the plate in exchange for stories about a virgin birth. The Hillsong people who've had to choke down gallons of Gloria Jean's coffee. And the Muslims who are shocked to discover a severe shortage of virgins in heaven. All tricked and all for nothing.
For at TV, the world is thinking.